Hey guys, welcome back to the official video webcast of geekrest.com. The seventh day with heavenly lights shining on my beautiful face. Aaron Holland, hi, from a comic shop, joins me. I'm Adam from Geekrest, and we're going to jump into some fun stuff because we have some bragging rights, at least for the next week.
Yeah, I don't want to sound braggadocious, and I don't want to make other fans jealous.
I do.
And I don't want to spoil anything, really.
No, don't.
We finally,
don't do that.
But still, you know, I had a press screening of the Avengers that I brought Adam along to, and other people.
Hotels. God.
So, anyway, the Avengers. What do you have to say about it?
Dude, what can I say without saying too much? All the hype you've been hearing, everyone talking about the greatest, blah, blah, blah. They're right.
Do believe the hype.
This was crazy. This was crazy fun.
I would say, you know, I like all the Marvel movies. I loved the first Iron Man. I thought that was spectacular.
Yeah.
You know, that's a movie I could take my wife to and she loved it as well. Because Tony Stark, you know, Robert Downey Jr. is amazing. Iron Man 2 was good. Thor was good. Cap was good. The Avengers was the best superhero movie I've ever seen, the best summer blockbuster movie I've ever seen, and literally the most fun I've ever had in a movie theater.
Yeah.
You know, like even I'm talking about back, you know, when you're in high school or whatnot and, you know, getting whatever popcorn tricks you're doing. This is the most fun I've ever had in a movie theater, and the movie was so well put together. It had like the 3-arc structure of, you know, the characters coming together, button heads, punching each other in the face, the classic Marvel tradition. And then, you know, having some inciting incident, some turning point, that something they need to avenge, and then the all-out brawl, melee type of ridiculousness, and every single character had a dynamic character arc.
Yep.
Every single one, everyone. Like, even Hawkeye, even Black Widow, and Iron Man's dynamic character arc was so freaking good too.
I think I wanted to say this without actually like spoiling anything, but I think that I was most worried about Hawkeye and Black Widow,
right?
Because like, you know, they don't really have the superpowers. I mean, nor does Tony Stark, but he's got the armor. So it's like, how are they going to use these characters?
And Black Widow in Iron Man 2 was unnecessary.
Yeah,
she didn't really do anything.
She's
awesome.
Secretary for most of the movie. And, but Hawkeye, I will say this: the way they used him, for most of the movie, I should say, was perfect. Like
pitch perfect.
That made you want to watch him and made you just in care. Whereas if they didn't do what they did, you know, those words,
you know, what would be the point?
But so
okay, so here's the thing. Okay, it was just so good that all the action, the pacing, the characterization, and just all the quips, and every time anything got a little bit too comic booky, a little too like, you know, we have the little suspension of disbelief as comic book fans because we've seen this and we're like, oh crap, we're seeing it on film, this is awesome. But every time something gets a little bit too hokey, you got Tony Stark there saying exactly like the tension relief of boom, you know, Loki and Thor are in this big, you know, like Shakespearean debate like Hamlet, and Iron Man comes down and he's like, am I interrupting your play? What is this, Shakespeare in the Park? Just so freaking good. And, you know, like,
and I'd say like you said, like all these characters, they've already had their movies, and Hulk, who had a movie as well, you know, that movie kind of flopped and maybe it didn't do the greatest justice. It held its own, but in this universe, this is the movie where you see the Hulk for the first time. Wow, like, wow, this was the guy who got the crowd going.
The CGI was great, everything was great, but Mark Ruffalo,
dude, he was good.
My lord, like he was just like this kind of Aspergery scientist, like doing
he's
stuff
always kind of calming himself with his hands,
and just the dynamic between Tony and him is like both scientists, both speaking the same, you know, language of all that science crap, but totally completely polar opposites, and just ripping each other and just it was.
And then when the Hulk finally does come out, it's just this contrast between his calmness the entire movie and this explosive energy, and oh my god, that it's and a sense of humor. The Hulk's got a sense of humor, a little bit, so that's kind of fun.
And the thing with me is, this movie was so good that I do not want, it's a litmus test. I do not want any friends that don't like this movie. I do not want to be friends with anyone who doesn't like this movie, because I know someone that doesn't like this movie is probably just this depressed, pretentious asshole that I'm probably end up punching in the face. I just don't want, like, I don't want to get in debates with someone that isn't ever even pleased with perfection, because this movie was perfection.
Yeah, we nailed it.
And I don't even want to have a discussion with someone that didn't like this movie. Like, that's, you know, freedom of speech and all, but get out of my face. You know, I don't even care if it hurts my business. F you, I'm going to end up punching you in the face, and that'll hurt my business worse. Yeah. So if you don't like the movie, don't even talk to me about it, because, you know, it was good. And after the credits, oh my God, it is fan service. It's fan service. It's something, the coolest possible thing they could do for comic book fans. Some other people that are just seeing the movie might be like, WTF?
I heard a lot of people going like, who?
Yeah.
Who? And I'm
well, I mean, it was press. I mean, you know.
Yeah, true.
But it was so good that the comic book fans,
So
you heard them just fan Tourette's, you know, just like a excited utterance, you know, it's like order in the court, you know. But anyway, I yelled, I need new pants. It was so good. So we should probably move on before I spoil anything.
Yeah, we saw it in 3D. You know, that was good. That was
3D was
right.
great.
Wasn't that within, you know?
The 3D was more depth of field. It was more like for the big action scenes and the big sprawling. Like, of course it's in New York, but the big sprawling New York action scenes, you have all that depth and all that, like, feel like it's just so. Yeah. The scope, it really helped the scope.
And there's a huge amount of Ultimates influence in this movie. So fans of Miller's Ultimates comics, I think you're going to pick up a lot of nods.
And that was, you know,
which was fun.
Here's the biggest compliment I can give as a comic book store owner and someone that's always said the comics are better. Comics aren't better. The comics are not better. Yeah. It's just as good as Miller's comics. Right. And some of the lines in there are just as good as some of the lines that Whedon's original lines are. Some, you know, you know, they didn't do the Hulk gay thing, but you know,
I read that now. I followed up on that homework. Yeah, that was good.
All right.
Let's see what else. Little Marvel news, just a spin-off of the Avengers. They're putting Agent Coulson, who's a fixture in all the Marvel comics. They threw him in the comic books now.
Right.
So
I heard he was the principal for
Peter
in the cartoon.
Yeah. Dude, that guy is the best contract he ever signed. That's kind of cool. And then Iron Man 3, a lot of news was coming out this week, also spinning off of the Avengers.
Right.
It's going to be directed by Shane Black. There was some casting news that Guy Pearce is going to be joining. I forgot the character's name. It's like Aldrich Killian or something like that. But they're using elements from Extremis, which is one of my favorite Iron Man stories. And
they've always used that artist. He was art design for Iron Man, you know. Yeah. So
I want to have a beer with that guy for some reason. I don't know. He strikes me as
Warren Ellis' story. I mean, it was great. And, you know, I don't know. I mean, it was a lot of origin story in Extremis.
Well, it kind of streamlined the character. That's basically.
It absolutely.
That's what they used to. I mean, Eddie Kranoff's artwork they used to create the look of Iron Man.
That's what I just said. He was art director.
Dude, I was glossing over that.
All right. So that's also. Sounds very wonderful.
That's cool. The more they take from the recent comic book storylines, I feel like the better these movies are going to be. I mean, the elements they're taking from these comics have all been done within the last 10, 15 years.
Right.
And they're paying off, clearly. So, Extremis, I'm stoked.
Speaking of elements from comics and you know, let's talk about direct-to-DVD animation.
Yeah. Kevin Conroy dropped a little bit of a teaser.
An F-bomb.
A
Flashpoint bomb.
He dropped a Flashpoint bomb. He was on the Nerdist Comic Book Club YouTube show, and they were asking him, what has he done recently? He's like, oh, I just wrapped up something with the Flash. It's Flashpoint, I think. He didn't
and why would he be doing Batman's voice on something with the Flash if it wasn't Flashpoint?
Right.
I mean,
one, it's juicy enough that he's doing Batman in another role. Everyone loves that. But Flashpoint animated series, and obviously the Batman story.
The Batman story in Flashpoint was the crescendo.
The pinnacle.
You know, I don't ever do any research, but I think that that's probably the first time that a mini-series spin-off of a crossover got nominated for an Eisner.
Right.
Like, seriously. Yeah. Like, it got nominated. The Flashpoint Batman got nominated for an Eisner Award for Best Miniseries. And all it was a spin-off of an event. Yeah. It was a 3-issue miniseries spin-off of an event. Yeah. So, you know, like, they don't like to give commercially stuff nods, you know, because they're a bunch of, you know, it's artsy awards.
But how cool would that be? And that's a huge gateway for DC Comics or DC Animated to, you know, introduce the new 52 in animated features.
Right. The best thing about Flashpoint to me, it's kind of like Age of Apocalypse, like dystopian, you know, dystopian present instead of a dystopian future. Yeah. But you take the Super Friends, you take the Justice League, and you make them all effed, all against each other. Aquaman and Wonder Woman want to kill each other. Batman is Green Lantern never got the ring. Flashes,
Yeah.
It's so good.
That would be
so,
good.
And that did launch the New 52. That did merge the Vertigo, Wildstorm, and DC universes together for one cohesive DC awesomeness.
Yeah.
And the New 52 has been great. So maybe they'll do Flashpoint and then start doing Court of Owls. Start doing some New 52.
Oh my God! If I ever saw the Court of Owls in animated form,
Court of Owls hardcover comes out in 2 weeks.
Does it?
Yeah. Next week is Animal Man in softcover, $15, and Justice League in hardcover.
Yeah.
Yeah. Animal Man, if you don't like Animal Man, you're not human. All right.
Yeah.
There's two people that shop at this store.
And if you're not reading Animal Man and Swamp Thing, you're not doing it right.
You're not doing it right.
No.
But there's people that love Animal Man, and there's people that haven't read the new Animal Man. This is it.
Dude. And let's just wrap up a little
Next
nod
week.
to Valiant Comics.
Next week, Wednesday.
Valiant Comics, we's ready, and apparently with 42,000 copies pre-ordered for Exo Manowar.
That's one of the best-selling indie books, and that's the pre-order copies.
Yeah.
I'm sure the overprint's all going to sell out, and it's going to be way up in the charts. But Valiant has this nostalgic reverence, and they're doing everything right. And we
paying off.
We mentioned things like in my video on Tuesday. I mentioned the Valiant really quick with the Free Comic Book Day thing. And I get a comment like, I'm more excited about Valiant than anything you talked about. I'm like, okay, I'm going to talk about that next week when it comes out. I wasn't going to not talk about it.
And I told you, when I was waiting in line for the Avengers screening, I was reading a Valiant book from the Free Comic Book Day, and I had so many people come on to me and be like, dude, is that Valiant?
And Exo Manowar is written by Robert Venditti from Surrogates, which got made into a movie, which is he is a great science fiction, one fiction, and I think Exo Manowar, I think he was the best choice for Exo Manowar. I think he's gonna nail it.
And those first couple of pages in that Free Comic Book Day, that looks good. Carrie Nord, and it's they're building up to something special, and 42,000 copies pre-ordered.
And that's just the first thing. They still have Harbinger, they still have Archer and Armstrong, they still have Bloodshot.
That's probably gonna put them on the best-selling publisher for the month. I would think.
They'll be up on that. They'll be in the chart.
I mean, for an entry, first-time entry, that's
is a
huge
very
for a publisher.
respectable entry, and we'll see what the fans say. Already there is more than just hype, there's buzz from fans. There's feedback to me saying, I want this on my pull list, I want this, what the hell.
And there's that little bit of nostalgia running through the...
And some of this stuff, like you said, it's already been optioned for movies and whatnot.
Yeah, Bloodshot.
I'm ready. Let's do this. Valiant. Why not? The 90s weren't all bad.
No.
Yeah.
Hole was good.
Yeah, that first album, Hole, Live Through This, oh my God, that helped me live through high school.
Okay.
I graduated in 95, that came out in 94, so.
That was 99.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, the coolest. All right, so that's it for the 7th day. Subscribe to us on YouTube.
And make sure you see Avengers.
Yeah, please.
It is so
3D,
good.
2D, just see it.
I will see it so many times because I missed some stuff because I was fangasming so much.
Yeah. Are you going to take me again?
Yeah, I'll take you again. Yeah. Nick Fury couldn't see it because he couldn't do the 3D with one eye.
Dude,
all right.
Perception. All right, that's it. We'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Later.